Hello, everyone, and welcome to our videos, everything spiritual, energy, channeling, anything that you can think of that relates to the spiritual world. My name is Corey Davidson, and I'm here with Yaila and Peyton. And we are doing our video on our March energy update. So let's start with you, Peyton.
Thanks, Corey. Hey, y'all, I'm Peyton, and I am a channel for the Pleiadians. So every month we bring you a message from the Pleiadians telling us what we can expect in the month ahead. And so when I checked in with them to see what we can expect in March, I have to say the message gave me chills. So there were three things the Pleiadians wanted us to be aware of for March. The first thing they had for us was they said your ascension is at hand. And they said that as light workers, we are starting to feel the excitement of this. We can feel that it's getting closer. But they said that they're also noticing some fear in the light worker community. And so the first thing they wanted us to know for March is that we have nothing to fear. They gave me such a beautiful quotation. They said, everything has been calibrated for your safety. So whatever is coming as light workers, know that you are safe, know that you are protected, and know that you are surrounded by so many loving guides and galactic friends and family. So there's no need to slip into fear, because it's so tempting when we look at things going on around us to do that. They said there's nothing for us to worry about. They have it in hand. Now, the second thing that they wanted to talk about, I was so glad that they addressed this, because this is something I pester them about all the time, and that is the timing of ascension. Because if you are on social media is blowing up with people talking about the timing of the ascension process. And a lot of people are talking about it as the shift or the event or the solar flash. And so I wanted the Pleiadians to weigh in on timing, because one thing I noticed is I am hearing some people say ascension is happening this week, and I hear other people saying it is going to happen in 15 or 20 years. And so I'm like, guys, why are we getting such hugely varying advice and opinions from people who are channeling and connecting to spirit? Why is spirit telling us all these different things? And so what the Pleiadians wanted us to understand about timing, first off, is they said that our pace of ascension has changed dramatically in the past 2 months. And that is because so many light workers are focusing on wanting a speedy ascension. And we haven't really been doing this as a light worker community. And what's happened is so many of us are wanting to change. We are wanting to evolve our soul, and we're really not wanting to play in the matrix any longer. We've actually activated a new timeline. And the Pleiadian said we have gone from being on what they call a snail's pace of ascension to being in turbocharged mode. So basically, through the work of the light worker community, we have activated a new timeline, a very rapid ascension timeline. And so when I asked them, well, why are we hearing, it's tomorrow, it's 20 years from now? What they said is they're showing us different opportunities, different timelines. They said whenever someone shows you a prediction of the timing, they are showing you the timeline they are on. And then it's your choice whether you resonate with that and want to adopt that as your truth, or whether you want to make another choice. So I know when I heard someone saying it was going to happen in 15 years, my first reaction was like, oh no, please say it's not so, not 15 more years of this. And so what the Pleiadians said is, all you know is you need to make another choice. Start to put your attention on what you want. So their message for us for the month of March is to make a conscious decision how quickly we want to ascend. They said light workers don't realize that you have a vote in this process and you have control over this process. So if you choose to believe it's going to take 20 more years, it's going to take you 20 more years. Not because that is the universal truth, but that's because it's the timeline you are choosing to adopt. If you choose to believe and desire it's going to happen this year, in the next couple of months, you're making a different timeline choice. So their message for us for the month of March is make that choice consciously. And this is one thing that even I, until about 2 months ago, didn't realize we had choice over. I just thought it happened when it happened, and we'd be lucky if it was in our lifetime. The Pleiadians are saying not so, but you have to make the conscious choice of whether you want to move forward quickly to evolve your soul into fuller consciousness, or whether you are going to allow it to just happen when it happens. But they caution us. They said, if you as light workers don't make this choice deliberately, you're allowing the collective to choose for you. And they were so funny because they said, do you really want another 15 years of what you have had in 2020 and 2021? Look at what the collective chooses for you. So their message for us is to be intentional and deliberate in deciding how quickly we want to ascend, because they said there are countless timelines and they're all just different choices. And then the final thing they had for us was they wanted us to understand as light workers that there's really no need for us to remain in the matrix any longer. They said, most of you have fulfilled your soul's purpose. You have learned your soul's lesson, and you don't need to remain in this 3D matrix any longer. And they also said that most of us can now hold a 5D frequency for a long duration of time. We can sustain it. And those are the two things that have to happen for the ascension to go forward. We have to be able to hold the energy, and we have to be ready and make the choice that we're ready to move forward. And they said all of the pieces are in place. So the message is, make that decision unless you want the collective to make the decision for you. And then the final thing they said is, just remember, because it's very easy for us to slip into thinking everything has to take a long time. They reminded us everything is happening now. Everything is simultaneous. Nothing takes time, except that we are in this 3D brain pattern that we have to wait and struggle for everything. So they said, lightworkers, we encourage you to make a different choice. But they said, no matter what we choose, if we choose the fast train or if we choose the slow train, they will support us either way. And they said, we look forward to meeting you in person in the 5th dimension. So that was what the Pleiadians had for us for the month of March. And I thought that was really exciting. I had no idea we had that kind of control over this process. So I'm going to make my decision. So Yaila, what are you getting as your collective message for us for March?
Thank you, Peyton. I'm like you, I'm like turbocharged, like, let's do this. All right, so let me just tap into the collective energy really fast. Very interesting. Okay, I don't know if I've ever seen the collective energy look like this when I first tap in, but it literally, the image I just got shown was, it's almost like a swirl of colors, like in rotation, and not a fast tornado, but kind of like just a slow blend of colors. Let me just ask what that means. When I'm asking what that means, it's more of just like connecting into where you want to be. So looking at your values, looking at where do you want to be in the world, who do you want to be with, what do you want to be doing. We're kind of pulling in all these different energies from around us, from the people and our different values that we care about. So feels like this is going to be a big theme for us in the month of March. The next thing they're bringing in is heightened focus. So looking at your values, what you care about, who you want to be with, and what you want to be doing, you're going to have a heightened focused about it, where there's going to be a lot more clarity than what you've had in the past, where it was a little swirly, a little foggy about where you wanted to step in or what you wanted to be doing or what you should be doing. You're going to have a hyper focus now. It's not going to be so distorted. So it feels kind of, in the beginning, you're still going to have kind of your own pace, your own falling into place, so to speak, but you're going to have hyper focus on where you want to be in those situations. And I'm just kind of asking, what do we need to know as a collective? What's helpful? One of the things that they're bringing in is with those values and with those things that you care about, you'll notice you're kind of in a different time and space now from the work that you've been doing before, when things that, how can I describe this? Like things in the past that would have made you feel down on yourself, bummed out about, angry about, frustrated about other people's choices, especially, and you're kind of seeing those decisions are made right now, you're less likely to take it as personal, where now you're able to look at it through that lens of love and just say, oh, well, that's a better fit for them. I'm still focused in this direction. So you'll notice that you've shifted your energy with your values and what you care about, and you don't feel it's not such a personal attack like it used to feel like in the last couple of years, where let's say you were dating someone and things didn't work out and you found out they were dating someone right afterwards, and you would kind of feel bad about yourself, like, oh, what is it about me? Why didn't they pick me? Now you're just realizing like, oh, they're a better fit kind of thing. So situations like that in all different areas of your life, you'll kind of notice you're shifting into more alignment with people, places, and things that you care about. And you have less of a vested stake in they have to like what you like, or they have to want what you want. Like you're just able to let people live and let live is kind of what they're saying. I'm also hearing just a lot more drive, a lot more forward momentum. So with that clarity, with that heightened focus, it feels like since you know where you want to be going, you know what you want to be doing, you're just going to have a stronger momentum behind taking those next steps. So it's going to feel like things are starting to move a little more smoothly than what they have been in the past. You'll start to things will start to take hold that used to feel like it was taking too long or anything to like get off the ground or get started. Now it's like things and people and places are going to start matching up and falling into place. And that collaboration that I think came through last month, that's like connections and things are going to start meeting up to each other. Okay, just asking if there's any last little words of wisdom, anything else we should know or we should look out. Another thing I'm hearing is exciting times. So obviously with different world events going on right now, different swirly energies, we are in exciting times. And for some people, anxiousness and excitement feel very similar in our body. It's just what our thoughts are behind what make it exciting. So the guidance I keep getting the last couple days, especially with what's going on over in Russia and Ukraine, it's looking at what do we want? Are you wanting peace in the world? Are you wanting your family to be safe, all family and kids to be safe? It's starting to really focus on what you want and not letting yourself get pulled into these different narratives. We kind of saw this the last couple of years. A lot of division is kind of put out there in the media, and we're being guided now to really invest energy with what we want. We're seeing, even if somebody, again, they're bringing back that different of opinion, that different step that they're choosing for themselves, we're able to let them make their choice with love, and we don't have to make ourselves so separate. And so pointing the finger, making someone good or bad, it feels like that's shifting for us. And so it's starting to become very exciting when we're able to look at the world and look at each other through that lens of love versus such division and polarity. We're just starting to notice more of the humanness in people, and we're not getting caught up in other narratives that pull us out of our true state. I'll just ask if there's any last little things they want to share for the month of March 2020. The last little thing that just ties into that is not to forget your kindness. So even though something might appear one way up front, there's usually a rhyme or a reason why someone's doing, saying, feeling, acting in a certain way. And what they're reminding us all, even for our own selves, is to not to forget your kindness. The first instinct to understand versus to condemn is probably going to be coming up to the forefront for this month. So not to forget your kindness when it comes to each other and what's showing up. And that will help you, again, just not take things so personal and not be so on attack mode. And it is an exciting time when more of us start doing that, where we don't forget our kindness. We remember who we truly are. And it feels like this is going to be, again, more of that collaborative year. So that's what I have for March 2022. How about you, Corey?
Thank you, ladies. I always love doing these energy updates because it still always floors me how we all get very similar messages, and yet we don't talk to one another about what we're going to talk about in our updates to each other. So March 2022 astrology. Well, just a reminder is that we are heading towards the Aquarian age. And that is an age of harmony and peace, love. I always say peace, love, Bobby Sherman. But in order to get there, the old structures have to be torn down. And because we have Pluto in Capricorn, the United States has their Pluto return, which affects the whole world. And Pluto is the hidden secrets, greed, control, all the rules, the underground. And it's in Capricorn until I believe it's either 2024 or 2026. I need to look that up. But and Capricorn is the structures, government, banks, schools, institutions. So a lot of that is going to be revealed, and that's in the planets. It's what's happening right now. And there is a lot of energy. You know, we are shifting our vibrations, whether we realize it or not. And so there's a lot of energy hitting the planet. We are moving through a lot of photon belts, planet Earth is in the cosmos. And so that alone, you know, we're just going through a lot of change. So whether you're, you know, the 3D world, it looks very chaotic. And it is those old structures that need to be taken down so that we can go into the age of Aquarius. So March. We have the new moon in Pisces on March 2nd. That's Wednesday. It's not too far away. And Pisces is a water sign. So it's about going with the flow, you know, not going against the flowing river. And really it's an opportunity, you know, it's an opportunity because Pisces is the mystic. You know, it's a very high level spirituality, and new moons are about manifesting. So it's not just the new moon. There are lots of planets that are supporting this. We have Jupiter, which expands everything. We have the sun that is in Pisces. And we also have, it is Jupiter, Saturn, but the Jupiter, Sun, and Moon are in a stellium in the 11th house of Aquarius. So the Aquarius is our future. So this is an amazing opportunity and very strong energy to manifest what you want. Talking about, you know, choose which timeline you want to be on. It is a very enlightened energy that we are in the first 2 weeks, especially the first week of March. So, you know, hopefully it'll be, hopefully it's the battle of the past, you know, demonstrating a new influence towards peace, because that's what the Aquarian age is. It's peace, and we're all trying to move towards peace, hopefully. If that's a timeline that you want to choose. So every planet has the higher vibration and the lower vibration, or the positive, the negative, however you want to look at it. Pisces also rules heavy intoxication, escapism. So I hope that we have that opportunity to walk away from escapism, putting our heads in the sand, drinking too much, doing too many drugs. We have the opportunity to move away from that and manifest a life beyond our wildest dreams. But it is a choice. But the energy is there to support it very, very strongly. And as I, do the astrology update, the first half of the month is predominantly in one sign. And then the second half of the month, it's predominantly in another sign. So the first half of March, we're in Pisces. We're still in Pisces. And then the second half of the month, we're going to be in Aries season. So the first half of the month is going to be a lot easier energetically, though it's strong. It has very spiritual, mystical energies supporting us as we go through this ascension. And on the 5th, Mars and Venus go into Aquarius, going towards the Aquarius age. And of course, again, that Mars is the output energy and the Venus is our love energy, and it's in Aquarius. So thinking outside of the box, we're going to think outside of the box, think towards the future, and spontaneity, so the first half of March, even though there's so much going on in the world, and it may seem a little murky, the lines as to what's really going on, because of this Pisces, Neptune energy, we do have some opportunity for spontaneous soulmate meeting up. So it's a very love-orientated energy, the first half. And then, on the 20th of March, we move into Aries, and we have the spring equinox. So that is an extremely powerful time. When we move into Aries season on the 20th, Aries is fire. Aries is, it's the sign of I am. It's the first house, which is all about the self. So, and because it's a fire sign, don't be surprised if you feel like you've woken up from a dream and seen the reality of what's going on, because we won't be in that dreamy Neptune Pisces energy. It can feel like being in the fog sometimes, which is great for, love sometimes, that dreamy love energy. But it's also going to highlight, like Yaila said, our personal focus. And that fire is going to help us to keep focus on our personal journeys, and as a collective moving towards the Aquarian age of peace and harmony. Okay, and then we have a full moon in Virgo on the 18th, and that's just before the equinox. So the energy will be several weeks prior, and then of course the equinox will be much longer than that. But we have a full moon in Virgo, and that's really Virgo is an earth energy, so it's determined. Virgo can be critical, so when we have any Virgo energy, we try very hard, at least I know I do, and I encourage my clients and my students to not be so critical, but more discerning. Help that Virgo energy to discern what's going on, as opposed to being critical and judgmental. Okay, and it's a full moon, so whatever is not serving us, we have the opportunity to let go. And this energy is about letting go, letting go of the old and going, making a new world. And by individually keeping that vibration, right? Choose which timeline you want to be on. So even though, it's self-care is really important right now, because there is so much going on in the world. So to find moments where, whether it's meditating or doing yoga, or maybe just, sitting out in the sun and staring at a beautiful flower and leaving your mind blank as often as you can, even if it's 5 minutes here or half an hour meditation, whatever it does to keep you centered in your own love frequency, your own bliss, is going to help you choose the timeline that you'd like to be in at this moment in March. So the full moon in Virgo is, it's like doing your work or finding your path. So we can either be very busy in what's going on in the outside world and work, and being busy so that we don't have to deal with what's going on in the world, because it's happening. The world, what's going on in the world is a teardown for the new age of Aquarius. It's happening. It just is. So with that Virgo full moon, we're going to feel it 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after. And we have the opportunity to let go of our busy work so that we don't deal with what's going on with the outside world, and take the opportunity to go inside and find our path. Virgo is a sign of service work. Virgo, the virgin, purity. So, which goes so beautifully with that Pisces energy, but we will have that fire Aries. So it will feel very strong. The energies this year are going to be strong regardless. So try to hop on a wave, and ride that wave and stay on your path and stay on that wave instead of getting, I don't want to say caught up, but being focused on what's going on in the outer world and being so busy and working and not dealing with our inner self, the feelings, the inner work, because that will take us off our path to the age of Aquarius. And then just really the last day of March, on the 31st, we have a Jupiter, Neptune, Mercury, Sun aspect. And that is just very strong. And what it entails when we have Mercury is the communicator, and by then Mercury will be in Aries, I believe. Let me double check. Yes, on the 27th, Aries will move into Mercury, and that's our communication. So our communication this month is really important, trying to communicate in a more loving way and being able to communicate what matters to you, but in a kind, as Yaila was saying, in a kind way, and saying what you need and what your needs are. This is a big time of people are going to come in. Some people will leave for new people to come in, to find your tribe and to fine tune our tribe. So Mercury will be in Aries. We've got Jupiter, which is the expansion planet. Neptune is Pisces. Mercury is the communication, will be in Aries. And the Sun too will also be in Aries. And that fourth house is the house of I feel. So being in Aries, all the expansion, Neptune spiritual, Mercury communication, and the Sun, which is our life force energy, in the fourth house of I feel. Aries being that fire. We're being prompted to speak our inner feelings, our truth, without that Aries fire coming in hot energy. So first half is going to be nice. Enjoy the first 2 weeks, no matter what's going on in the world. Enjoy the little reprieve that you can, and that new moon is huge opportunity to manifest. In the second half, we have a lot of oppositions, we have a lot of T-squares, we have a lot of squares, and those are the more challenging areas, the energies that happen. So we're on our way to our ascension into the Aquarius age, the Aquarian age, and it's a little bumpy. But if we focus on love and kindness and not being swerved from the path that you've chosen, no matter what, we will all get through this and we will all be okay. But sometimes when we get a lot of that rough energy, a lot of the turbulent energy, a lot of the strong energy, it does catapult us into finding our true path. Otherwise, what would there be to find? So that's my March 2022 energy update. So ladies, anything else that you'd like to add? Okay, well, thank you for joining us. Please make sure to like and subscribe our channels. They are down below. And we look forward to seeing you next month with our energy update. And every Wednesday as we all post our videos. We can be found right below is all our social medias. So everyone, stay in the love, take care, and bye for now.